In this video, I am discussing refraction on a spherical surface. So this is one spherical surface, and the refractive index of this surface is mu2. And refractive index of outside of this surface, this medium, it's a mu1. Means outside this surface medium mu1, and in this surface refractive index mu2. So if I take principal axis over here, so principal axis passing through center point, and I put one object over here. This is one object in front of a spherical surface. I am putting one object. And for any spherical surface, there will be center. So this is the center of a spherical surface, this point. And lining, any line joining from center to surface, that will become normal. Means if I draw one line passing through this center, so this line is normal. Means CN is a normal line. So if any line is striking on this point, so that will make angle of incidence. For example, this object is there. So if light ray is strike from this object to this one, incident ray, we say this one is incident ray, so this will be angle of incident. And we know, actually we are assuming that mu2 is greater than mu1. In this derivation we are assuming that mu2 is greater than mu1. It means if light enters from rarer medium to denser medium, it will bend towards normal. So rather than going a straight line like this one, this light will bend towards normal. So if it will bend towards normal, so it will go like this. This is bending towards normal. So this light ray bending towards normal, so it will go like this. So this one will be image position. So this is image position, this is center, and this one is object position. This is object. Distance of object from point P, we say it's a u. Distance of object from point P, that is u. So this distance will be u, and distance of C from point P, that is r, that is we say radius of curvature, and distance of I from point P, that is v. This is image distance. So this is image distance, this is radius of curvature, and this one is what? Object distance. Let's say this angle is alpha, this one is beta, and this angle is gamma. And we know angle between incident ray and normal. So this is normal, this is incident ray. So angle between incident ray and normal I, and angle between refracted ray. See, this is refracted ray and this one is normal. So angle between refracted ray, this is refracted ray, and this one is normal. So angle between refracted ray and normal, we say angle of refraction. I draw one more line over here, and this line is perpendicular on this surface, and height of this one is what? H. So this is diagram for this derivation. Now, if we use exterior angle property for this triangle, for this one I am talking about, this triangle. I'll make separate diagram for that triangle, so it will be more clear. I am talking about this triangle. This one. You can see separate diagram over here. This is alpha, this one is beta, and this angle is I. So I was talking about this triangle. See, this is alpha, this is beta, this one is I. So alpha, beta, I. So you can write I is equal to alpha plus beta using exterior angle properties. If I use exterior angle property, I can write I is equal to alpha plus beta. Now if you see the other triangle over here, this triangle, this one, I am talking about this one. I'll make separate diagram for this triangle as well. So if I make separate diagram for that one, so I'll get this. Okay, I'll make this diagram. So separate diagram for this one, for second triangle. I'll get this. This angle is beta. This one is r, and this one is gamma. So from this triangle, if you see, I can write beta is equal to r plus gamma. It means we can write r is equal to beta minus gamma. So I got I is equal to alpha plus beta, and r is equal to beta minus gamma. So we'll move on next phase. I is equal to alpha plus beta, and r is equal to beta minus gamma. I got two things. Now if I apply law of refraction over here, law of refraction where? If I apply law of refraction at this point, So what I can write, if I apply law of refraction over here, I can write mu1 into sin I. Law of refraction means I am talking about Snell's law. So mu1 into sin I is equal to mu2 into sin I. So this is law of refraction I want to apply. So if I apply this law of refraction over here, so I can write means law of refraction at this point. Mu1 into sin I, mu1 into sin I, mu1 refractive index of this medium into sin I is equal to mu2 into sin R. So if I apply that law of refraction, so I can write here mu1 into sin I is equal to mu2 into sin R. And we know if angles are very small, in place of sin I can write I, in place of sin R I can write R. So in place of this sin I, I'll write I, in place of this sin R, I'll write R. Why? Because this angle is very small. Already we know. We are assuming that these all angles are very small. These all angle I, R and theta. Whatever angle I take in this one, alpha, beta, gamma. Whatever angle I take in this derivation, every angle is a very small angle. So in place of sin I can write I. In place of sin R, I can write R if angle is very small. We know that concept. If theta is very small, means sin theta is equal to tan theta. Whatever thing we need, we can write it. So in place of sin I, I'll write I. In place of sin R, I'll write R. So if I write this one, so mu1 into I is equal to mu2 into I. Now in place of phi, I'll write this value alpha plus beta, and in place of r, I'll write beta minus gamma. So if I write this value, so I'll get mu1 into alpha plus beta, that will be equal to mu2 into beta minus gamma. Now if I simplify this equation a bit, what I'll get finally, mu1 into alpha plus mu1 into beta is equal to mu2 into beta minus mu2 into gamma. Now this mu2 gamma term I'll take left side, and this one I'll take right side. So this one I'll take left side and this one will be right side. So I rearrange this one. If I rearrange that one, so what I'll get, mu1 into alpha plus mu2 into gamma. What I'll get finally, mu1 into alpha plus mu2 into gamma is equal to mu2 minus mu1 into beta. You can see that if I rearrange this one, I take this one mu2 gamma left side and this mu1 beta right side. So I'll take common also, common beta. So if I take beta common, then what I'll get? This value. We can also write alpha is equal to tan alpha, alpha is equal to tan alpha, beta is equal to tan beta, and gamma is equal to tan gamma. How you can write this thing? Because we know alpha, beta, gamma also very small angles. See, these angles are very small. In that case, tan alpha is equal to alpha and alpha is equal to tan alpha. Whatever we need to write. In place of alpha, I am writing tan alpha. In place of beta, tan beta. In place of gamma, tan gamma. So if I write this whole thing, so basically what I'll get, mu1 into tan alpha plus mu2 into tan gamma is equal to mu2 minus mu1 into tan beta. Now I have to put this value of tan alpha, tan beta and tan gamma. So if you look at this one, first diagram, what will be tan alpha? Tan alpha will be h divided by u. So I am talking about this smaller triangle. Okay, I'll make this diagram of this triangle. I'll make better diagram for this one. I am talking about this triangle. Actually, I am talking about these three triangles. This is h, this one u, this alpha. This one is h, this one is r, this one is beta. Right? Beta. And this one is h, this one is v, this one is gamma. I talk about this triangle. These three triangles you can see from here. You can see this triangle is what? This one h, this one will be u. So first triangle, this one h, this one will be r. Second triangle, this one h, this one will be v. Third triangle. So if you look at this all three triangle, so what I'll get? So h divided by u, this one h divided by r, this one h divided by v. So using this all these three triangles, so if I put value of alpha, gamma and beta, so finally what I'll get? We'll see what I'll get from this one. So mu1 into h divided by u plus mu 2 into h divided by v is equal to mu 2 minus mu 1 to h divided by what I did? Tan alpha will be h divided by u, tan beta h divided by r, tan gamma h divided by v. So just tan in place of tan alpha I am writing h divided by u, in place of tan gamma h divided by v, in place of tan beta h divided by r. So h get cancelled. So finally I can cancel this h. So if I cancel this h, so what I'll get? But before that, one more thing, I'll write this value negative. I am writing this value negative. I am not using any sign convention. Just I am writing this value negative. So if you see, this angle is anti-clockwise. This one is anti-clockwise. But these two angle clockwise. So this is clockwise angle. This one clockwise angle. So clockwise angle I am taking positive and anti-clockwise negative. So if you see the first triangle, that angle is anti-clockwise. Second triangle clockwise. Third triangle clockwise. That's why this gamma and beta, that will be positive and this one will be negative. So if I write this one, this equation, finally I will get mu1 by u plus mu2 divided by v is equal to mu2 minus mu1 divided by r. Now we can write mu2 divided by v minus mu1 divided by u is equal to mu2 minus mu1 divided by r. So this is formula for refraction on spherical surface. But here one thing I need to remember, one thing everybody should remember this point, mu1 and mu2 it can be anything. Right now in this example I am taking mu2 as a denser medium and mu1 as rarer medium. But mu1 and mu2 it can be anything. Anyone can be denser or anyone can be rarer. mu1 is medium from where light ray emitting, means from where light ray emerges, from where light ray coming, from which medium light ray coming, that medium is mu1. And mu2 is medium in which light ray enters. So remember, mu1 is medium from where light ray coming, from where light ray emerges, and mu2 is medium where light ray enters. So mu2 and mu1 anything can be rarer or denser. Only thing is that mu1 is medium from where light ray coming or emerging from that point, and mu2 is medium where light ray enters. So this is all about spherical refraction. This is very important formula. So thank you guys.